Exponent rules. Let's say you have x to the 7th power. Just so we understand what's going on here. This is x times 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 x. 7 of them, in fact, multiplied together. This exponent means repeated multiplication. Therefore, if I have x squared times x to the 3rd, this is really x times x, the x squared part, times x times x times x, the x to the 3rd part, which yields x to the 5th. There's 5 of them. The rule: add exponents when multiplying two of the same base together, for instance, x and x. You do not add the exponents if you have different bases. They are not like terms, they don't combine. They just stay the same. You multiply exponents in a situation like this, when you raise a power to a power. This is x times x times x times x 5 times, multiplied together 6 times. I'll actually do a simpler example so we can draw it out. Here is x squared to the 3rd power. 3rd power meaning do this thing 3 times. So this is x times x times x times x times x times x. 3 times. If you want to group these in parentheses, you can. Just to emphasize that we've done it 3 times. How many x's total? There's 6. So the rule is raise a power to a power, multiply them together. 2 more rules and we're all done with the rules. Next rule looks like this. Let's say I have x to the 3rd divided by x to the 2nd. This is really x times x times x divided by x times x. X divided by x is 1, and x divided by x is 1, so the only thing left is plain old x. The rule is, when you're dividing the same base, you subtract their exponents. 3 minus 2. So this is x to the 3 minus 2, or x to the 1, which is plain old x. Last rule. When you have a negative exponent, it has nothing to do with negative numbers. It only means that this number is, we could say, uncomfortable in its position in the world. If this was a fraction, it's upstairs, it wants to really live in its parents' basement. So we're going to move him to the basement where he'll be less negative. In fact, he'll be very positive down there. He's happy down there. Whereas his friend, Y, lives in her parents' basement. She's not happy down there. She has expectations for growth. So let's move her up to the top of the world, where she will be more happy. The negative in an exponent simply means that the exponent needs to be reciprocated to the other side of a fraction bar. For instance, 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 9. Let's put all these together into a giant combination of nasty exponent rule extravaganza palooza party. Here we go. Let's try 3 squared a to the 4th y to the negative 6th over a to the negative 2 y to the 4th times 4. One thing with multiplication is the order doesn't matter very much, right? In fact, at all. As long as you don't separate them with pluses and minuses, we can write these in whatever order they want to be in on the top and the bottom. So let's make this one more thing just to make it a little bit more fun. Times y to the negative 2 on the bottom. First thing we do is we combine like terms. The only like terms on the top and bottom of the fraction by themselves are the y's on the bottom, so we will combine those two y's. Y to the 4th times y to the negative 2. What do we do when we're multiplying bases that are the same? We add their exponents, as we found out up here. So we're going to rewrite the whole equation. 3 squared a to the 4th y to the negative 6 over a to the negative 2. And our y's, what did we end up with? Well, we add them together, so this is just y squared times 4. And I'm going to put the 4 in front because we can, and that's how we normally write it. Okay, next step I'm going to write on a new line down here. 3 squared is 9. Let's simplify the a's. I have a to the fourth on top and a to the negative 2 on bottom. Remember, a to the negative 2 is unhappy on the bottom. We're going to move him up to the top, says my little baby girl, where he will become a positive 2. I will write that out just so you can clearly see what's happening. Oops, that should be a 2, and it's kind of an ugly shape. And then we'll be left with 4y squared on the bottom. Of course, a to the fourth times a squared is a to the sixth, which we just discovered. I'll write this 3 as a 9 this time. And that's all over 4y squared. Cool. Let's combine our y's and we'll be done. We have y to the negative 6. It's unhappy on top. Let's move it down to the bottom where it becomes a positive y to the positive 6. Y to the positive 6 times y squared is y to the 8th. And our final answer will be 9a to the 6th over 4y to the 8th. We're done. Congratulations. You made it through.